Live from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, it's the First Dibs podcast with our hosts, John Deisty and Justin Underwood. Buckle up and let's go for a ride.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees. Crickets are singing and lightning bugs are floating on the breeze. Baby, get ready.
Boo! We had to try that again. That's what happens when you take a week off.
Yeah.
It's the Halloween episode.
That's right.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the First Dibs podcast. Thank you very much to Ryan Barkey, our buddy from the Road Show, for filling in for me last week. Loved the show. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and drive some cars and sit down and chat. Miss you. Sorry I wasn't here, but really appreciate the time and the effort.
For sure. I was watching his Instagram videos.
Yeah.
The cars that he was driving. And it's funny because he didn't say anything right until we were talking here on the show. And he certainly didn't mention, I loved the clip about the Dakar where he says, Justin loves me, but I don't know that he trusts me because there's only 25 miles remaining on the fuel. So it's like, you can drive it, just not
funny.
real far.
That's pretty good. I like that.
But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed that. So, John, I'm super glad you're back.
Thanks, me too.
Not sure what's going on with some technical difficulties as far as our
I'm trying to get to it.
comments and stuff. But anyway,
I can see the comments.
that's cool.
Our shift trends are here.
Oh, good. Awesome.
So there's only one thing I want to talk about,
Okay.
and it is the Dirtfish Rally School in Snoqualmie, outside of Seattle. God, what a place! What a place!
Yeah,
So
totally.
we'll get to that in just a second here. But cars that came in. I took in a 2023 Gentian Blue 718 Spider, manual,
Right.
18-way seats, full leather, Burmester.
Oh, that's
which
right.
I think I don't know that there are other GT products you can get and spec Burmester.
Right. That is kind of crazy.
Turbo GT
Yeah.
Cayenne you could do with the Burmester. But GT3 you cannot. 911R you could not. Speedster you could not. So I think that's kind of a unique place to be with the Burmester on the supercar.
Yeah.
So that thing's sweet. About 7,500 miles on it.
We sold it new. You sold it
I
new.
sold it new. Yep. We ordered it new. The roll hoops, the supplemental safety bars are in body color. Great looking car, great driving car.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So that's a fun one. So if you're looking for that, call me. But I don't think there's any other new cars that I can think about. We got a shipment of maybe some new Macans in, but I think those were all ordered Macan EVs. We've got, you guys touched on the 992.1 Carrera that we have.
Yep.
Guards red, leather with stitching, sport exhaust I noticed on that car.
992.2.
2.1. There's a 2.1 down there.
Cool.
Pretty sure. Pretty sure it had turn signals.
Right.
Yeah, it's a 2024. I'm 99% guards red.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Fun.
so I do my daily lot walks, and then
I'm just kind of in a cloud right now.
you've been busy. You've been like a single parent of the dealership
with 12 kids. Right.
You know, for a week and a half. That was a long trip.
It's been tough, man.
Yeah,
It's been tough.
It's a lot. I mean, just I love it here.
Mm-hmm.
But when I work my day off or when there's an event on a Sunday, that's a ton because you don't get the recharge time. You don't get to get your laundry figured out or mow the lawn or do whatever the things are that you have to do in your real world before coming back. And so to be open to close for basically 2 full weeks, that's a big commitment. So thanks for doing it so I can still go home.
That's right. Gotta put some kids to bed.
And last night there was a party here that you got to stay and hang out for. So even when we were closed at 6, you still got to hang out even later. And
that was a sweet event.
And tomorrow night you get to go up to the Black Eyed Pea in Parker to have some cocktails with the Axe and the Oak.
That's right. I'm looking forward to that.
I know. So at least it's not in the building.
Last night's event was awesome, man. It was really cool. It was Colorado Springs Lifestyle Magazine had their 4-year anniversary party here. And man, I got to say, they put together a great show. I mean, everything was awesome. I mean,
I had to walk through a forest to get into the building.
Yeah. No, they had these super cool light up trees, you know. It was great. I mean, the catering was awesome. They had 2 different distilleries here that were great. They had a wine shop thing or whatever that also has a restaurant somewhere. They were here serving their wine. I mean, it was awesome. It was great. And everyone that was leaving, they were stopping and thanking the host as they were leaving. And I mean, everyone was blown away. It was really cool to meet some people that had obviously never been to the dealership. And I mean, admittedly, they haven't really had a reason to come to the dealership as far as, maybe to purchase a car, but it definitely, I think they understood they could just come here to kind of like hang out, and look around. So I love that, our owners are very, accommodating when it comes to kind of loaning out the space, right, for friends and things like that when they're doing big events like this. It just gives people another reason to come check the store out, when they normally wouldn't, and it really opens their eyes, and it's just fun. Like they just like, wow, there's no reason to feel like you're out of place here. Like just come hang out.
I wonder if having office hours would be something that would be cool. Where once a month we stayed open an hour late and we weren't selling cars.
Yeah.
And it was just like come and hang out. We could have some snacks or something.
It was like a happy hour.
Yeah, exactly. Happy hour. There you go. That's my language. Can't believe I didn't come up with that. Good job. All right. So
Porsche Colorado Springs
happy hours. Yeah.
I like it. And then it was kind of funny because the host, they were saying like, man, I'm so sorry. It's, we're trying to get things wrapped up. Like, oh no, you guys are awesome. I mean, this is early, compared to.
Don't say that.
Time.
Yeah, we've had some.
No, it was great. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. And, I look forward to, and I hope that they want to be able to, host it at the store again. I mean, we still have some other really cool events coming up. Hopefully, a bunch of our listeners or watchers on YouTube have been invited to the Macan E launch event. It's coming up on November 7th.
7th. It's a Thursday.
Yep, it's a Thursday.
I will be at the Animal Kingdom.
Do other people know this?
What do you mean? Like my family?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be there with me.
I was gonna say, it's a bizarre way.
Yep. No, I know. I'm so bummed. I'm gonna miss it.
The launch event.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the launch event.
I'm looking forward to this for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Number one, the location, the Kawadi location downtown
sweet.
Colorado Springs. We went there once for a little company outing. It was an awesome venue.
It is.
The response, there was a couple down today that have been involved with Porsche and Porsche clubs since the 60s, I think. And they're going. I mean, and they're coming all the way down from Denver to go to our Macan event.
That's awesome.
But anyway, and then there's other stuff that's happening, but those are more private events that are held here. But anybody can register to go to the Macan E launch. So if you didn't know about it, ask us.
You know what it is?
We'll get you signed up.
It's an electric garden party. Doesn't that sound awesome?
That does sound awesome.
I'm excited for it.
Who's the artist with the blown glass? Like it sounds like
Chihuly.
Yeah, Chihuly. It sounds like patchouli.
Chihuly. Yeah, Chuli. I think it's just Chuli.
Chuli. Yeah.
But it's Chuli. Chuli. Something like that.
Yeah.
We need that guy that...
electric garden party
yeah.
makes me think of that.
I want to have an electric garden party with Chihuly. Right? Let's blow some glass, buddy. But I don't mean that as drugs. Like that would not go well with my personality. Let's do some meth. Isn't that what glass is?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure glass is meth.
Oh,
I don't
man.
know.
I thought you just crushed up Adderall.
I've had prescriptions for that. It also doesn't work well with me. It's amazing. It opens my brain up where I am so hyper efficient. I would sell 30 cars a month.
Yes.
But
yes. Somebody please
send me some Adderall. No, but the problem is I would have a heart attack in about 45 days. And
I just need one good month.
And
John.
No one would like me. Like, seriously, I just become a straight up asshole.
But very
because
efficient.
I am so efficient, I don't understand why everybody else isn't keeping up with the shit I'm getting done. Yeah. So bad news bears on that.
Yeah, so that's what's going on. But John, we're here to talk about your
me. Yeah.
adventure at Dirtfish.
Talking about more roadshow family. Dan Pilling, totally scholar, gentleman, wonderful person.
Awesome.
Helped get this set up for us. I think you guys talked about it a little bit last week. This was a fun reward award that came from the dealership because I did pretty good last year.
Yeah.
Billy and I, wanted to do something, and we thought it would be more fun if we invited Joe to come along. And he had the time. And so we all got to go. It was just a quick in and out. We did, I love Seattle. I love that whole area. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's just a totally different world. But we didn't get to hang out there. We were just in and out, basically. You fly in to Seattle. It's about 3 hours in the air from Denver. Excuse me. Pretty easy flight overall. Get to the rental car agency, and then out. It was like a 35 or 40-minute drive from the airport out to our hotel. Much closer than I would have expected. If you think about what's 40 minutes from DIA, that's like
almost to Denver.
Yeah,
Right.
And we did.
Right.
Truth be told, we were there outside of rush hour, so things would change a little bit, but. You're not getting to the mountains. You're not getting to Boulder in 40 minutes, I don't think, most of the time from DIA. So the fact that it was so close and they have this amazing property was just incredible. I've got a couple pictures. I'm not a photojournalist, so bear with me. But this is...
Can I slide over?
Yeah, go ahead. Yep. So this is kind of the view from the parking lot. This property was a lumber yard with Weyerhaeuser, which I guess was one of the biggest lumber producers in the Northeast. And then they didn't need it anymore because I don't know why. And they started doing filming TV show Twin Peaks here.
Yeah.
And then eventually Dirtfish ends up buying it. So now they've got 305 acres, 40 minutes from a major metropolitan airport.
Wow.
In this beautiful setting. I mean, it feels kind of Colorado, where it's like beautiful and mountainous and things like that with cool big trees. Billy was shocked. He saw the biggest leaf of his life. Because there was like a maple leaf that was the size of two of my hands.
Right.
Like it was very, very large maple leaf. But, being from, dry climate Texas, he didn't know that they made that kind of stuff. This was like Jurassic Park things. So amazing property, right? There's a giant freestanding building on the property that's like, it might blow down any day, but they can't go in it. I don't know. It was really cool. And just getting to here at 7:45 was already kind of setting a cool tone for the day.
Yeah,
so,
the structures on the property are from the Twin Peaks show.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. They're roped off. I don't know if they're like national monument type things, but I don't think they can touch them.
Right.
I think it needs to stay as it is. So they had a big shop down here. You're on it. Moving it. All right, cool. Good job. So big shop. That's where they do all the work. The cars are either a WRX STI, so kind of the up through 2021, I think, is when they built those. VA would be the code, like a 992 VA STI. And then BRZs are the rear wheel drive example. Set up with rally suspensions, rally tires, smaller brakes that fit the rally wheels, big cage setups, and 4, 5, or 6 point harnesses, depending on which one it is. They were pretty mild in terms of exhaust. They weren't super loud and annoying, which was cool. But I think had, a little bit of a tune on the engine. When we were driving them, you're basically in second gear the whole time, and just for some of the slalom, you're just pinned on the red line. And right. I'm astonished they can do it for the price they do it for. The tires are $1,600 a set, and they last 3 days.
Wow.
So,
that's racing, and you're tearing them up on gravel and all that.
That's exactly it. But that's just, I felt like there was a ton of value in this in the school.
What does the 1 day school cost?
It's like $2,200.
Okay, I mean that's just the schooling. That's not hotel, airfare, all that stuff. But no, okay,
yeah. So when you think of it, you're basically paying almost a third of the budget is going to tires.
Right.
And that doesn't count for buying the cars, insuring the cars, the property, the instructors, when somebody crashes a car, any of the rest of it.
Right.
So to me, what a value to be able to do this in somebody else's car.
And they offer a 3 day.
Yeah. Yep. There's you can do a rear wheel drive 1 day. Actually, you can do half days. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest area, you don't have a ton of time, and wanted to just do a half day, they've got that available. The 1 day course, if I left at the half day, I would have been so bummed.
Sure.
Because that's when you're just starting to feel like you almost know what you're doing a little bit.
Right.
So it'd be a really good way to set the hook, but to do the full day, it went from, actually then they do a 3 day advanced, and I think they actually even have some invite only stuff where if you've been through the advanced course and are really starting to get into it, they've got an amazing collection of stuff, but they have some true real rally prepped cars with sequential gearboxes and stuff like that that you can be invited to drive was kind of my understanding. So I didn't get that invite yet, but
it's still early. There's time.
I think I did pretty good.
Yeah.
I think my learning curve was fairly quick. So, just look at that setting though.
Yeah, that's super
it was
cool.
just stunning in perfect Seattle weather. Overcast and drizzly.
Yeah.
It was just wonderful. Not too hot, not too cold. No dust in the air with all of it. So
right. Yeah.
Just super cool. This is inside of their main office. They had a few rally cars on display.
Those lights, man.
Yeah, right. And then a bunch of racing suits and racing memorabilia, which was super fun.
Yep.
This was Fernando Alonso's race suit.
Really?
Yeah, and then next to him was Jensen Button.
No way.
And so there were a bunch of other names on this stuff that I recognized, but if you were a rally freak, I'm sure your mind would have been blown.
Right.
There were names I couldn't pronounce there on the belts. So pretty amazing stuff. So this is the main classroom. 10 people per class.
Okay.
Split into 2 groups. We all did the classroom stuff together. Then when you're out on the race area, there are 5 cars with 5 instructors, and you alternate. At first I was a little bummed that I wasn't in the car the whole time, but I think it was nice to have a little bit of a break where you could digest a little bit of what you had just done and watch the other people and just kind of see it all. I think if you would have been in the car the full time, it would have been very, very intense. And you would have been, we were tired at the end of the day, but I think you would have been exhausted trying to think through all of it.
Sure.
So got to kind of chat through a little instruction on, why is rally different and things like that. And then we get in the cars. So this is the car from the inside. It's got the hydraulic handbrake coming up on the side.
Right.
And, the gauge cluster in front was flashing error codes where they had turned off all of the any sort of nanny, and I don't know exactly what they do to the cars, but they were cool. Caged out with metal floors and stuff like that, no carpet, and very little sound deadening. So that was pretty sweet.
What is the card that's in front of the passenger?
There were different cards that they'd put up in the middle. It's showing you kind of when you're on the gas, the nose lifts up. When you're off the gas and coasting, it's kind of neutral, and then when you're on the brakes, it's diving down. And it was just talking about, if you're on the gas, it's just going to push, it's not going to grip at all. So just talking about how you had to transfer the weight around, and that changed a little bit depending on the exercise.
Sure.
And they also had a rally headset, so you had to remember to plug in like with these every time you got in, so then you could actually hear the guy.
Oh, nice.
My instructor was Sean. Dude's a rock star. He restores warbirds.
Oh man.
And like it paints. I think the most recent thing he had painted was an Aston Martin DB4 Zagato or something like that.
Gosh.
In this crazy deep dark purple.
Wow.
So Andy's a Volvo dude. So anyway, you'll meet him for Hill Climb this year.
Cool.
We're going to try to get some of these guys out just to come and hang out with us.
Sweet.
For Hill Climb. But yeah, the cars, awesome. And then just look through the window there.
Right.
I mean, dirt and puddles and muck, and it was just
in an ambulance.
Yeah, no, that was our no ambulance, no safety equipment. That was just the
shuttle,
to get us down and around. Skid pad was first. So this was just a big round circle, and we were trying to basically draw a box around it.
Okay.
In a normal car, when you turn, it turns. In these, if you turn, it doesn't. You have to transfer the weight forward first.
Okay. Yep.
Otherwise, there's not enough grip to get through the loose surface to get to the part that grips and turn you in.
Sure. Okay.
So it was stay on the gas, lift, weight, turn, weight, then kind of unwind it and gas was the basic thought in my brain was, lift, turn, gas, lift, turn, gas, lift, turn, gas. And depending on how quick you were going and how much steering angle and stuff, it would react differently. During this bit, I had no idea if I was doing it right or wrong.
Okay.
Because I wasn't crashing,
right?
But I didn't know if I was supposed to be doing it differently, or I was just so confused because they just throw you in the car and they drive first and say, "This is what we're doing," and then you go and try to do it, and it's like, "Am I doing it or am I not doing it?"
Not at all.
Yeah, exactly. But I didn't hit any cones, and I think to me, what the exercise was about is just getting a feel for how the car is accelerated and decelerated, and how to get it to turn in a little bit.
Sure.
On dirt, or mud in this case. So that was fun. After playing around a couple rounds on this, that was after the first session.
Wow.
So that car was perfectly clean, and then I did that and made it a muddy mess. That was my car, number 227.
Okay.
So
the conditions look perfect for rally.
They were absolutely perfect. Yeah, and they've got some big water trucks where they try to wet the track down on the sunny days, but there's just not enough water in the world to do that.
Right.
So having it being a little drizzly and a little overcast, and I wouldn't have picked anything else if I could have. So yeah, that was super cool. Then the next thing we went to was slalom.
Okay.
So I'm going to hit play on the video. I think, actually, let's make sure the sound is off on the other things here.
Oh.
That's all right.
We're on.
Yeah, that's off, so I can turn this up a little bit. I think we'll get the sound through. So the next thing was doing the slalom. So on a normal road car, you want your slalom lines to be like swoopy.
Yeah.
On these, you want it to be just diagonals,
Right,
because you
okay.
don't have enough grip to be accelerating if you're sliding around. So you just want to pivot the car and go, pivot the car and go.
Right. Okay.
So, and you would want basically the car to be facing the direction you wanted when you would normally have hit an apex. And I don't know. I'm not an instructor. I'm trying to relay what I learned, but we'll hit play on this. So you can see the rain coming down. And you would just dab the brake a little bit, and then the back would want to step out. And there, that guy's getting a little fishy. I mean, right? That's
right.
I just love that you actually get to see the conditions a little bit. So yeah, this was the second exercise. You kind of gradually get into feeling like you're more confident going quicker and quicker and quicker. Then by the end of this, I was basically pinned on red line for the last couple. And then, yeah, I don't know. It was... so then we learned that. Here's another one. That's just them coming back the other way. Then I had to take a picture of how sloppy and muddy I was.
Right.
After the break, a little bit of Dirtfish swag. They're beating us in their YouTube.
Oh, man.
And now they're up to like 300,000.
Wow. Wow.
But they're a good follow. They track a bunch of the rally stuff, the WRC races, and do content that way too.
Well, after watching this show, they might be at 300,012.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So go follow Dirtfish.
Right.
Like and subscribe.
That's pretty fun.
So I thought that was neat. So this was me in the car after lunch or after the break. And I was just recording a quick little, this is the demo. So we did the skid pad first, and now this is turn left.
Okay.
That's all we're trying to do is learn how to turn left. And based on kind of how quickly you would come off the brake, the car would rotate at a different rate. So we were trying to figure out how to balance that correctly. And this exercise, what they wanted us to do is just pivot and go forward right on the cone. And it didn't matter if you were going fast or slow, just make the pivot as close to the cone as you could.
Okay.
If you drifted out towards the outside edge, you didn't want to do that, because in a rally, if you're making the turn, you want to be as tight as possible, because then that leaves you room for making a mistake.
Sure.
And if you do it out, then you're into the woods.
Right.
So this was my instructor driving. So that was it. That's all we're doing is just driving in a straight line, hitting the brakes and turning left. And it was so hard. It was just one of those things. And, I don't know. I think I overcooked it a few times on that. I didn't hit any cones on this one, but I got awfully close. So then this is the next set. This feels like a slideshow. So if you get bored, tell me.
Hey.
But I had so much fun, I just can't stop talking about it. So this is after that session, we got to go out on kind of the handling circuit, where it's 6 turns and then a little loop into the slalom that we did.
Sure.
So you got, the back end's out sliding, and then you got a pendulum, swing it back into this.
Yep.
And then you're back into that slalom that we learned before. And the whole thing with all of this was probably a minute.
Right.
But it was just so much fun. And I just wanted to keep doing it over and over and over again.
Right.
So, yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty awesome. That's fun.
Yeah, and you'd run it in both directions, so this is going the other way.
Oh, wow.
But,
yeah,
just spraying mud everywhere.
Right.
And if you got a little off track, the like deep mud would just suck you right into the corner and slow you down completely.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, how much?
Yeah, that's sweet.
You're just spraying mud and having fun. Oh God, just the best.
Yeah, that's super fun, man.
Yep. So here, we'll play one more of me driving, and then we can move on with our conversation. But man, that's washed out on our video. I hope it looks better on YouTube.
Yeah.
But so here's my humble brag. I got to shift into third gear.
Oh, wow.
Everybody else was second gear the whole time.
Okay.
I got to put it into third. So
Okay.
this is the slaloms. Now here we're kind of pinned up on red line. Just back end flying out.
Right.
There's third
gear.
And yep, back to second.
Are you using the hydraulic brake?
No, just tapping the left foot brake, and it would come right around. And it's amazing that was like the full thing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, your brain just went, oh, because it's just so different. And, I'm used to driving on snow and driving fast cars. And
Right.
this was just a completely different thing. A few times, like, they called it rally feet. So you'd go from, you'd clutch, take off, clutch into second gear, and then take your foot and just hover and touch the brake pedal with your left foot. So you've got both feet on
Right.
there. And one time I forgot to do that. So I moved my foot over to tap the brake from the gas and then remembered what I was doing. So I jumped off the brake again and then
Right.
back on the brake with my correct foot. And you could tell the car was just like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It was all over the place. And Sean, my instructor, was like, it felt like you lifted a little early on that one. I was like, yeah, I was using my wrong feet. So I had to correct. And
Right.
anyway, that was not a good lap. And then as you're coming to a stop, you're like, trying to remember everything that you've done for the whole lap, and you're coming to a stop and there's a car in front of you and you want to put the clutch in so you can slow down gradually, but your foot's on the brake. So you put the brake in and everyone's head just goes smack. Right? Like, but yeah. Highly recommend the whole experience. It was absolutely incredible. I would do it again tomorrow if you'd let me. And to fly out and do it on a weekend, we flew out at 7:00 from Denver, and then we're up at 7 or at Dirtfish the next morning at 7:45. We could have left that night and been home Saturday night, and I think it would have been okay. So you could really make it a true one-day thing from Denver,
Right.
And world changing. We were lucky enough to get invited to a rally car collection that these guys have. I have no idea where it was. Dan took us and like blindfolded us on the way there. But I'll pop up just a couple pictures of it. This was totally allowed. So there's Joe staring at a real 993.
Wow.
I think it was a GT, but yeah, or RS. Yeah.
Okay. RSR?
RS, straight
Okay.
RS, street car. But
Wow.
yeah, my mind was exploding this whole time. Gray black
Right.
GT3, and then the other Porsche things.
I thought this was a rally collection.
It is. So this is those are his fun street cars. This was a Lancia Type 37, and I just thought it was cool to like see through the back.
Right.
Just pile of parts that I would love to have. You know, like
Right.
up top, I think that's like a Stratos
Oh, wow.
body up there. Some kind of Renault rally car that they were working on and rebuilding. Aerial Nomad.
That's pretty cool.
A collection of Mercedes 190s.
Jeez. Oh, that's pretty wild.
RS 200, I think is what those are.
That is really cool.
Next to a Lotus Cortina, Type 37 street car. You know, it was just, that picture does a pretty good job looking back through there. Manual transmission, first gen Cayenne GTS.
Oh, sure, in the back.
So,
Yeah.
just crazy cool stuff.
Right.
And, you know, they're all running and driving.
So the owner of the collection, are they a rally driver?
I wanted Dan to stand next to that just for size comparison. And then that was at our hotel.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. But we can kill the cameras now, or the photos. But yeah, so the guy that owns Dirtfish, it's kind of a family thing. They're a bunch of rally fanatics, and I don't know this for sure. I haven't talked to them about it, but what it seems like a little bit is that Dirtfish is their way of giving back to the sport that they love.
Okay.
And it's a way for somebody like me to get introduced to it because, you know, I think rally's awesome. I've seen the cars flying through the air. I love Pikes Peak Hill Climb. I love the Colorado Hill Climb Championship, but it all seems a little inaccessible. Sure. I don't know. I wouldn't know how to get into it. I wouldn't know how to get instruction in it. And for them to have this amazing school out there, to me is a way of kind of paying it forward. Like what we talk about, you were talking last week about not wanting velvet ropes around our cars.
Yeah, right.
And it's important that when kids come here, they're able to get in these because maybe someday they're going to be the kid that buys one.
Right.
And it's our passion, so let's share it with other people. So that's what Dirtfish seems like to me, is it's their way of, because if it's $2,200 for me to go for a day, they're not making any money.
Right.
You know, this is not like a huge profit center for anything. It's about the love for the sport, the love for the cars, and wanting to be able to share it with other people. And that, I think, is something we talk about, how, you know, I would love to own that car, but what I would love to do is go take that for a drive with you, you know, or take that and Lewis, or that and Lauren, and that and Isla, and just go jam on it. And that would be so much better than just having it and having it sit in my house and or driving it by myself. It's about sharing this and kind of learning about it. So that's what I thought was so cool, is they've got this, you know, they're similar to us in a way, where they have just this really great crew of people from, I didn't get to meet the technicians that work on the car, but all of the instructors, the daughter, Josie, she was fantastic. It was just this amazing group of people that all share a passion. And it really came through, I think, in the experience that we had, where everybody there wanted to be there. And that made I don't know what my point was, but it made a great, it made a great impression. It, you know, it's an amusement park that, you know, we get to go play and play these dirt things. And now it really, I think it inspired all three of us to want to learn more about how to drive these cars. Billy's been looking at, you know, how do I build something for rallycross, because rally's expensive. Is one of the other things they said, is like, you know, if you want to do autocross or if you want to do track days, that's not that much money.
Tires and
compared,
brakes.
that's not much compared to racing through the trees. And but anyway, totally appreciate everything all those guys did. It was a amazing learning experience. Their hospitality was awesome. I wouldn't have changed anything about the whole trip. So. Except I did. Joe picked. We went to the casino. I dragged Joe to the casino and showed them all how to play penny slots. And we were playing Willie Nelson slots, and I won this thing, and I got to pick from 5 things. and I just tapped one, and Joe said, "You picked the wrong one. You picked that one." And the one Joe said to pick would have won us $13,000, and we could have stayed another day.
What?
So the one thing I would have changed is I would have let Joe pick, so I could have stayed another day to do the
That
rear-wheel
is
drive school
Extremely
and
random.
come home with a little extra cash. But
Should pick this one.
yeah,
Wow.
I think that's about all I got.
So, because I kept giving you guys, teasing you a little bit, saying the stories aren't going to be about, your experience at Dirtfish. It's going to be about your experience at Dirtfish with Joe Bretter. How did he do during the whole thing?
I think he did great. I think I was at an advantage because I don't have any instruction on how to drive cars fast. So I didn't have anything I had to forget. I just listened to him and, okay,
Right.
stop now. All right. That's weird, but whatever. But I think he had a really good time. I think it was one of those just eye-opening experiences for all of us where it's like, this is a completely new thing that is really interesting. Joe said what he thought he was best at was just finding the traction because he's so used to dirt bikes and being able to see where there's grip. And you could definitely tell where the stuff was dry and where it was slick. I don't know that I was good enough to find it in the car.
Okay.
But I could see maybe where it was. I kind of had an idea of where it was supposed to be.
Right.
But yeah, I think it was cool because we were all equal and all students there. There wasn't a hierarchy of any of this.
Yeah.
He wasn't our boss, Billy. He wasn't, we were all just there to have fun and learn. We were there with some other cool people, a guy that worked at Valve, the software company.
Okay.
He was fun to chat with, and same thing. He's got a bunch of, they're Seattle based, and a bunch of his coworkers had been and wanted him to go do it. So it was co-ed. There were a couple women there too that had a blast. So it was,
Yeah. So you said 10 people per class.
Yep.
So, and there's 5 cars out at a time.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good mix. I mean, for a day, yeah, like you say, it might be too much if you were just in the car the whole time.
Yeah. If you'd need breaks, you just would. You would just need a break to get out and kind of do it. I would have loved more seat time.
Sure.
But now I just have to go back and do a 3-day
Do
course.
a 3-day.
Yeah, I'd like to do the rear wheel drive one too. I think that'd be fun because it's got to be different. Just controlling traction just on the rear axle,
Right.
would be cool. But yeah, a 3-day.
Okay, so let's say we get Walter Roll to come onto the show.
Yeah.
You would be able to talk to him differently now.
No, I'm still an idiot. I appreciate that, but
Right.
I still wouldn't ask any intelligent questions. But what I do think it did is gave me way more respect for the hill climb drivers, especially the ones that were doing it when it was half and half or whatever. Because, again, I'm not a track driver, but it's a different way of driving. So for the first half of driving, you would have had to do it differently and, hit the brakes, wait for the car to come around, and then drive. And then it would switch to tarmac, and then you'd have to go back to driving like a normal race car. And that thought process, for me, even just remembering to move my foot back to the clutch
Right.
was a lot.
Yeah.
And, it sounds dumb saying it, but when you're so hyper focused on all of these things that are all brand new, it's just a lot of information to try to process.
For sure.
So
I noticed you had watched the Dakar, Jay Leno's Garage with Jeff Swart doing the Dakar.
Yep.
That's a great video.
Yeah, it was good.
And Jay brought up Jeff doing the hill climb. And then Jeff had mentioned that he's actually raced and won in all of the track configurations.
Yeah.
It's dirt and pavement and pure pavement, right?
Yeah.
And Jay had asked him, what's your favorite? And he said, honestly, he said when it was all dirt was the most fun.
So the top of second gear, what am I doing? 60?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You were doing 60 out there?
I don't know. What's the top of second gear in a Subaru?
I mean, you drive a Subaru.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
You hit red line in second gear.
Yeah, I do. I
every day.
Yeah. So maybe it's 50. I don't know. But
50.
but whatever it is, like.
Yeah, you guys are flying around.
But that's not that fast for track. You know, if you made that whole course asphalt,
oh right,
speed limits would go way up. And but I have never had more fun in a car than trying to like hang out in the mud. And it was so cool because if you missed it by a little bit and caught the mud, the car got sucked into it and everything slowed down. And then you were like, and it just rubbed it in your face.
That's funny.
So I think the conditions were really good too. I think I'd like to go back and try it on dry pavement or dry dirt.
Just dry dirt.
Dry dirt. Because I'm sure it's totally different. And that's what's fun about rally, I think, is that, you know, you only we got to see this circuit a few times, but in the real rally driving, you get to see a turn once.
Right.
And if you mess it up, you just have to kind of keep going. And the whole point is go as quick as you can, but don't crash your car.
Right. Yeah,
So,
exactly. I was hoping I was going to try and send you, it's kind of funny we're mentioning a couple things here that it's ringing a bell. My old SC.
Yeah.
Do you have photos of it? I'm going to,
if you text it to me, I can bring it up.
I'm going to send these to you. And as far as paying homage, you know, to some stuff like, you know, things of the past. So the new owners of the SC have done a couple of enhancements to the car, and I mean, I knew that car went to the right people, right? And so anyway, very recently he sent me a couple photos, and it's pretty sweet. And you're also reminding me about talking to the hill climb drivers as far as how they experience things and how they use things a little bit differently. So for instance, the car that you sold today, like one of the things that I had mentioned to that gentleman was, you know, because he's needs a track car, right? And this, you know, the car that he got comes standard with rear axle steering, you know, 4-wheel steering.
Yep.
And said there are some drivers out there that absolutely love it because it rips around, right? And they've had time with it. And then there's drivers out there that don't love it because it makes it feel to them like the rear end's swinging out on the car, and it's like a weird mental, you know, they have, like you say, there's so much going on, and then all of a sudden it feels like the rear end's coming out from you, but it's not, you know, it's completely controlled. Let me see if I can. So I'm going to throw this over here real quick. But anyway, so that's not even the finished state, but that's the old 79 SC, and it's a Brumos car, right? You know, kind of a Brumos livery that they made there. I think it's super cool, right? And you can see the distressing that they're starting to do on the hood. It even says Peter Gregg over the roof.
And I'm really disappointed that it doesn't say like F Underwood or something like that.
Frank Underwood from the
House
was the
of Cards.
president.
Yeah, exactly. Just something, and also it's F Underwood because that's pretty good too.
So anyway, Richard and Miranda, thank you so much for sharing that stuff. It's awesome. I actually sent those photos to my father because they named this car after my dad's name, which is pretty funny. So this car is named Paul.
There you go.
Which is pretty sweet. I think that's extremely generous. But and then the Brumos, you know, connection that we have here at Porsche Colorado Springs, and obviously, you know, Richard and Miranda helping all of that along the way as well, and Alfred, you know, having an extremely strong Brumos connection, having, you know, been a Brumos guy. I think it's so incredibly fitting. I never would have thought of doing something like that. And to
fun.
see it, it's super fun.
Yep.
Yeah, super fun.
I'm glad I inspired them with my stupid ass stripes on my Volvo to do something cool like that. I take credit for everything.
Pretty cool.
Yep. That is super good.
So I like it. I don't know how I got put onto that. You said something about Oh, I think it was, the hill climb drivers and, the history of the dirt and being able to talk a little bit more intelligently with the drivers since you've been in the seat to experience things that are going on.
Yeah.
When I first asked Joe about it, what he thought, he said he had to undo everything that he knew about driving. He said it was just so backwards, right?
Yeah.
And because like you say, you probably have a little bit of an advantage not having any instruction necessarily.
I'm not trying to go fast.
Right.
Because I'm not going to.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So no, I think that's a great way to look at it. No, it's fun.
Yep.
I enjoy that you've been able to share that experience with everybody. So
yep, that's the thing. I'm hoping that I'm too late to book the Porsche experience next year. I don't know. Yeah, no, it's
and that's how this came to be, right? It was you won a trip to the Porsche experience with you and Billy.
Yep. And we were all just too busy to get it all booked, and then it was sold out, and I'm so glad it was.
Yep. That's awesome.
And you know what else? It made me like my car more.
You have a new respect for your car.
I totally do.
Well, we tell people the same exact thing about you take your 911 or your Boxster, you came into the track, and you will look at your car differently every time you get in.
I totally do. I love that thing. It's noisy, it's rattly, it's but it's now I finally understand it.
Right.
I finally get why the car is what it is, and I want to get a set of 15-inch wheels with rally tires on it for next summer, not new summer rubber.
What if you just put them on in the winter?
I have winter tires. That's different though. I want they were saying that the rally tires, like they've got tire mounting things with like 3 arms to push the rubber down because the sidewall is so stiff. They run 20 PSI and there's no chance it's going to pop off the bead anyway because the rubber is just so stiff. You could basically run them flat.
Right.
And
it's like trailer tires kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So that to me,
that's interesting.
And
I
go
wouldn't have known that.
Ripping up on some dirt roads around here.
Right.
Yeah. I think that sounds like a good
That'd
time.
be pretty fun.
So, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, now you could try it in a Dakar.
Joe mentioned that. He said next time we go, which I thought, I took that as a compliment because this was my idea. I threw it out there and they could have hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody could hate it, but not knowing, it's a risk, right? You're putting yourself out there. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it's totally worth it, but $2,000 times 3 people, it's a lot of money for the dealership to put up. And so you want it to be good. And the fact that both of them are like wanting to do this again made me feel very happy. And
But Joe mentioned taking a Dakar.
Yeah, he thought, next time we go, let's bring a Dakar with us. I was like,
just show up in that.
Okay. Like, it's your insurance.
Right.
I wasn't driving that.
Right.
You don't have proof.
That's super funny.
But and honestly, I'm sure a Dakar out there would be awesome, but I'm very glad that we got to drive what we got to drive because they were, somebody had an off.
Oh, wow.
And went towards trees off the dirt into a ditch.
Yeah.
And they brought the big skid steer out and dragged the thing out and did more damage to the car pulling it out than they did going in. But that's something that could happen. And I would rather do it in their car than our $350,000 911.
Right. Yeah. And they're prepped.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or even just they wash the cars twice a day. And it's not enough. Could you imagine the shoes that I had that I took the picture of? Like it got worse from there. And slopping that into a $350,000 911. That's not mine. Right. Like if it was mine, no problem. Yeah. I'm good getting my shit dirty.
Yeah.
But man, that was the thing.
Yeah.
So I got to try to put my thoughts together and write an article.
Ask Lewis.
Of some kind. No, Lewis has his own article. He's got his own deadline.
Okay. I mean, he could just help you.
That's true.
He's got some skill.
That's true. Have him lay it out, maybe.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of writing, I'm super excited to see our spread shift.
We have a spread.
Well, they were going to do an article about
about the Macan and
Classic
stuff.
and the Macan. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's, big. Lots of photos, all that stuff. So
There you go.
yeah, no, we just got stuff going here all the time. No, that's great, man. That's a super fun experience. Like I said, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Educated
You'll hear
some
about
people.
it again tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's guys
Yeah,
that are there's guys that are gonna look into this now and sign up for it. So
I don't have a discount code or anything like that, but if you go, tip your instructors. That's what I would say.
right, tip your instructors.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. What do you mean the GFYA Dicey doesn't give me anything?
We'll work on that.
Yep. Well, we're about at our limit. Do you have anything else you want to share?
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I've enjoyed this. Like I said, it's been a fun, challenging week, and we've got tomorrow to get through, and then people meet us at Black Eyed Pea in Parker.
Yeah.
What time does that start? About 6:30.
I don't know.
That's what time you'll
That,
get
we'll,
there.
We'll
roughly
probably be there around 7.
7-ish.
Yeah.
But yeah, look it up. Black Eyed Pea in Parker, and tomorrow night they're doing an event with Axe and Oak.
Yep.
Distillery, kind of launching some stuff that they got going there. So that's super fun. But
It's cool that we've got friends that are doing stuff together. 6 to 9, Saturday the 26th.
all right, that's a good extended happy hour.
Yep.
I don't know. Did anyone win the Well, you weren't here.
I heard about the contest.
what was the contest?
It was take me on a date.
That's right. What would you take?
Good luck.
What would you take
Good
John
luck.
Dicey
Yeah.
on a date in? I think one person responded to it. I don't
Not
know.
much of a contest then.
You're gonna have to look.
All right.
You're gonna have to look. But
I
you have to look
I
on.
have to pick.
You have to look on both Instagram and Facebook because. So I learned one of the issues that we have is that not everybody has, both platforms. Let's say, some people have one, some people have the other. So we gotta make it somewhat fair. But
Okay.
anyway, so I think look through that, pick. So that's what the extension is. It's the same exact contest, Alfred. For
There you go. Yeah.
It's the same exact contest. So you have to post.
How about this? Just post a cool car.
Post
and tag us.
Yeah, post a cool car.
And tag us.
First Dibs, or you could.
No, you have to do First Dibs.
We do.
Or me personally.
Do we have a Facebook page?
No.
So I think that's part of the confusion.
Yeah.
I think you can tag Porsche Colorado Springs because
So we can maybe find that.
because I believe Porsche Colorado Springs
Yeah.
just reposts our stuff on Facebook. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, so Alfred, and for all the other listeners out there, the contest is post a picture of a cool car saying this is what I would take John Dicey in a date on a date in, and then tag First Dibs Podcast and Porsche Colorado Springs.
Okay. I
guess
didn't
it would
listen,
just
I
be
didn't
Porsche
listen to
Colorado.
any of that. So I'm just laughing. Dan, my friend, Dan Pilling, just
Okay,
tuned in.
Danny P.
And he said, just tuned in. What did I miss? And then Dan McInnes says, nothing, Dan. It was definitely not an extended Dirtfish commercial. Which, at least we're transparent.
That's
also, I was not paid anything for gushing about this this experience.
No.
I didn't pay for it, but the dealership did. So, and I would pay for it myself
That's good.
in the future. So,
That's awesome.
Yep. Here's the deal. Dan McInnes, when you go, he's got a 3-day that he had to cancel because of a work conflict. So he has to rebook that. When you come back from that, if you aren't as annoying as me right now, there's something wrong with you because it's just the best.
That will be a good because, Dan's a big time autocross guy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be all wrong for him.
He's going to be great.
Dan's a driver.
Yeah, he has a very good command of things to do, but I think it takes a minute for it to click for anybody, is my guess. But I would expect it to click pretty quickly for Dan.
That's good.
Quickly. Anyway,
All right.
Anyway, that's all.
That's
we got.
all I got.
That's all we got.
So If that's it. So
Yeah.
for the First Dibs podcast from inside Porsche, Colorado Springs, I'm Justin.
And I just went to Dirtfish.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody.